Welcome to Indian Tech Icon Spotlight. Today, our guest is Anand Thangaraju. Anand comes with a diverse background. He has 20 years of experience into different industry verticals. He started with management consulting. He worked in financial industry and then into the security industry, now in technology. Anand loves to advise startups, VCs, and he has been engaged with a lot of startups and VCs in an advisory role. And we'll get to know more about Anand and his journey from his own words. Welcome to the show, Anand. It's a pleasure having you here.
The pleasure is mine.
Let's jump into your journey. I was going through your profile and going through what have you done in your life. Seems like there are a lot of things that you have been up to. Financial industry, management consulting, consulting itself, now into cybersecurity. Tell us more about your current role, like says a field CISO. What does it mean? People know about CISO. What's field CISO? And maybe if you share more details around that.
Yeah, so the way the industry has evolved, even the CISO title itself is probably a 15-year-old title. People had to really fight for that title because before that it was all CTOs dealing with security, and then eventually there was this understanding that security is its own discipline. So we had to come up with a head of security and then CISO. And you know that like one of the toughest jobs right now is defending your enterprises from all the bad actors, right? The field CISO is basically somebody who is a practitioner who has gone to the other side of the ecosystem, working with a product vendor or a solutions advisory, but you're still thinking in the same lines of a CISO and trying to be an effective partner. Trying to be a consultative partner, trying to bring clarity in all the vendors that's out there for the CISOs to really make sense of and make decisions. So I'm always in the field working with my customers who are primarily security leaders, and I sort of act as the liaison between the multitude of security vendors, all the different services that you can consume, and being like your advocate for running your security function. So it's a slightly different role, and I really enjoy it. You have to have a business mindset now because I'm running a sales practice as well. But at the same time, you have to stay as technical as possible so that you're valuable to the security community.
So you're kind of making your customer's job easy in terms of getting them what they need, or at least guiding them towards what they should be.
Right. Otherwise, there's no need for them to engage with me, right? So you have to bring some kind of value. And many CISOs in my day-to-day, they prefer talking to somebody who's been in their shoes rather than talking to a salesperson who has never seen the
Right. There is a slight delineation between.
That's a difference. Ultimately, we need everybody. Like when a product needs to get to the CISO's table, there's all kinds of functions needed.
Right.
I see myself as another important function in the mix of things.
Yeah, great. It's good to know about this role. Even when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, I am not sure if I understand this, but I think this brings a lot of clarity in terms of what this role does, and seems like it's a very important role to connect all the services outside and the customer and put together that, the bouquet, I would say.
Right.
Saying that, okay, this is what probably will work best for you. Now, you touched upon one thing that maybe a few years back, it was just CTOs and then the CISO role evolved. Like from a persona standpoint, how are these two roles different? We talk a lot of things about persona-based approach. If I have to go to a CTO versus I have to go to a CISO versus CXO,
CDO, there's so many
different, right?
Yes.
Now, all of them, others are kind of, chief operating officer, what they might be doing, or CEO. But when it comes to CTO, CISO, it's kind of seems for a layman, it's about the same thing. Both are in technology, so what's the difference? So how is that persona different? Because you have been there,
Okay. Oh, it's way different. So I think it all comes down to the primary value they bring to the business, right? So from a technology standpoint, you're always thinking about how am I transforming my business process and making it much more efficient. You've seen companies go from a brick and mortar to a completely internet enabled company.
Right.
Now everything is mobile. everything is in the cloud. There's always a cost angle to that, and there's a speed to market. If you stop innovating, if you miss a release cycle, your competitor is going to swoop in and have a market share stolen from you, right? So the CTO is always thinking about what is the next cool technology wave and how to ride it, how to push out more cool products and experiences. But at the same time, you need to have another person playing the devil's advocate and calling in any kind of risks that might be lurking, right? If you put that hat on the same CTO's role, it's going to have a lot of conflicts. So I see the CISO's role as somebody whose mandate is to protect the business, the long-term viability of the business. And for them, every new opportunity is also a risk. And how to navigate that kind of a decision-making process with the risk-reward balance is ideally the CISO's role. And to make it simple, there's consensus that a CISO has to worry about the CIA triad. It talks about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. As long as, of course, there's availability is more leaning towards CTO as well, but not so much on the confidentiality and integrity, which is heavily into the security world of it. So as long as the CISO is able to navigate and get assurance that we can take care of these three principles, you are actually putting out more safer code and safer products for customers. It's not about the business's risk, it's also about the risk that you're transferring to your customers. So the customers are not often savvy people. So you are in a sense responsible for securing their interests as well and maintain the trust.
Right. So if I understand correctly, CTOs are scaling the business by bringing more technology, enabling more technology, and CISO's role is to make sure those technology align to whatever the policies and ethos of the companies are in protecting business and the customer's interest.
Yeah.
Two different personas, but I think the objective is still the same. One is kind of scaling and one is kind of protecting, but both are thinking about the business. But well explained, it's very clear now. I think our audiences will be able to now clearly delineate for whoever who don't understand how these two roles are different. So thank you for that. Now, going back a little bit in time, let's talk about your college and we'll come back to your journey. But I do want to know, because when I was going through your profile of what you have done, you are an engineer and then you went to the top management school in India. IIM, of course, very reputed name there. What made you think that from a technical learning or education, you want to go to management? What was the thought process?
Okay, if I would be lying if I claim that I had all the clarity back then, because I was just a kid. But looking backwards, I can try to reason things better, I guess. One thing I've always been strongly infused with is that education is important. It's fundamental to uplifting your entire family and your future.
Right.
And I've seen this play out many times with my father. He was the first graduate out of his village. His parents were all happy farmers, and for him to be able to move to a city and work in a big organizations was the first pivotal moment for him to dream big. And for him, he had the same aspirations. That's why he kept on pushing me to excel in college, and both my parents, right? So they gave me the best education possible, from putting me into the best CBSE school. And eventually, when I did my engineering, it was just by choice. That was the first opportunity I had. I picked the best college available and went ahead with it. But as I graduated, I realized that for me, I don't think I even had the skills to be a successful coder after 4 years of engineering, right? That's a sad state of many people graduating.
Yeah.
So it took a while for me to figure out if that's really what I would enjoy all my life, being a software engineer, or if I should think about something, some other careers. And I always was fascinated by the business, because none of my family is into business. So I really wanted to understand that side of it. All my connections were all professionals. They were good at something, but they didn't know how to monetize. So that seemed like a far-fetched dream for me to understand the business world. And that drove me to give CAT, and I was lucky enough, I cleared all the IIMs, in fact. So that was the first time I traveled all across the India territory, just attending my interviews, and it was an amazing experience for me to get go. And I have to say that till date, I hold the biggest achievement of my life as getting into IIM Ahmedabad and spending 2 years with those kind of like-minded people and professors. So it was well worth it.
Yeah, I must say that, getting into all the IIMs, it's not an easy feat by any means. Millions of people try and they can barely make it. So yeah, it's an achievement in itself. And I think your driver to go there was to just understand the business side of it. So now that you did that, how did you came back to technology again? So you started your career into technology right after that, or was it like a business and then got into manage? Like, how was that?
So So there's lots of stories. I don't know how much time we have. So when you talk to anybody who is an IIM, their dream is so simple as, okay, I want to make as much money as possible. I want to become an investment banker. Or they want to learn, they want to have the quickest path to the CEO or the leadership track. And the best way to do that is get into strategy consulting, because you're talking to CEOs on day one, and you're obviously learning ideas, and you're already in that cohort, right? So that was my dream as well. But as fate would have it, I was graduating during the worst financial crisis, 2008, and I had an offer at a financial services bank, and that was rescinded. And I was sort of forced into tech back, I would say, but I didn't feel bad about it. I think that, I already had 2 years of tech experience, and I had my engineering behind me. So something told me that maybe I should explore the crossroads of technology and business. So I was still getting into tech, but it doesn't mean that I'm leaving behind my knowledge in business. I came in a role where I can build a business development practice for technology company. So I wasn't coding again. I was thinking about how back then I think data was the predominant factor. AI was just barely getting in, and not the AI we talk about today, but it's more like analytics, predictive analytics. So I was fortunate to be in that practice and helping them build their entire collaterals, their sales materials. I was the one who was preparing pitch decks and RFP responses for finding new projects, and I would go and present to customers. So it is definitely a different perspective on technology, and that got me an opportunity to come to States for consulting projects, and eventually I had an opportunity to move to New York and manage the business development for financial services organizations. So that was an amazing experience, like working with all the Wall Street banks. And this was, by the way, when I was with Cognizant. It's a great company, great brand. And that sort of opened doors for me to find a path in the States. And eventually I moved to EY, which was also very similar, but gave me a different perspective on consulting compared to like an Indian origin company to a more global brand. And that's how I got started. And from the get-go, the fact that I was working with diverse people from different backgrounds, working with different clients, that really helped me learn fast.
So it seems like you were able to achieve your dream of working into financial sector through the technology route, right? That's amazing that, how the life takes the turn again and gets you where you actually wanted to be. It's like, almost seems like if you have that in your mind, you will get there one day, kind of story, right? Now, you got into EY, you started maybe to see things differently based on, the different company, different culture, and different way of doing things. And then you moved to the Silicon Valley Bank, right? Tell us about that, because the Silicon Valley Bank, people have heard stories, lot of stories. Couple of years back, a lot happened, but your journey with Silicon Valley has been tremendous. It's over 6 years of period.
Yeah.
What was your, because it seems like you were in technology, but you got into financial sector, but was it like purely financial, purely technical? Like what was
Sure. So of course, by that time I was in EY, I had worked with at least 20 different banks in different capacities. So I had had a sense of how the financial industry was working and the different functions behind the scenes, predominantly in the tech and a little bit of compliance business side. So I wanted to settle down in a bank so that I can really feel like I'm doing something for the enterprise rather than being a consultant. I mean, it always feels like a fly in the wall sometimes, right? So I had to be cautious in which bank I'm picking, because I know like the big banks, you can just get lost in that, right?
Yeah.
So I found like Silicon Valley Bank, which was apparently one of our customers, and it was a very the right sized bank when I joined, and I felt like I had a role that would really help me grow into the more of the business side, because I wasn't more into the development side. I was in a governance role, so I was having access to the CTOs, CISOs, so sort of setting the agenda for their IT strategy and dealing with their budgeting process and coming up with policies and procedures to make sure that they have a strong technology risk management program, and also facing with the regulators. For example, when the Federal Reserve comes and pokes at your processes, I was the person who was dealing with all the evidences and making sure like you're showing assurance on all the audits that you're already doing internally to show maturity and progress in your day-to-day resilience, right? So all that gave me a bird's eye view of the technology function itself from the CIO, CTO perspective. And it gave me more opportunities to pick up additional functions. I was responsible for privacy risk and overall data risk management, and third-party risk management. So it eventually gave me an opportunity to think about my next. So when the bank was going through its troubles, and I don't want to talk what went down there, but it was just a black swan event. That's how I want to call it. And it was a very pivotal moment for the industry, because I was completely sold on the bank's mission and the kind of work they were doing with the venture ecosystem, with the founders. And I definitely owe that much to Silicon Valley Bank, because otherwise I wouldn't have really reached out and got hooked into the real Silicon Valley scene of like the innovation where it's happening. I really owe it to them. But it was time. It was universe telling me that, okay, it's time for you to go reinvent. And that time I was clear that I don't want to end up in another big company. So from then on, I was thinking like, how should I navigate my career forward? And I just started doing a lot of side hustles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because when I look at your profile, there are a lot of things that you do on side. And is that after that whole thing happened, like when you said that it gave you time to reinvent yourself, was it that moment, that defining moment that, okay, I should now look into these areas? Talk about that.
Absolutely. I think we all have this tendency of, overcommitting ourselves to our employer and day job. And I was, at some point, I was really enjoying what I was doing at SVB as well. So that obsession leads to just being razor focused on one aspect of your career. But when that disappeared, it really put me into a whirlwind of like, what else am I good at, right? So it was not about just like finding my next job. I wanted to pause and take a stock of things that I have really excelled in the past. And I was dabbling with art at one side. My dad is a big artist and painter, so I stood up a Shopify site to sell his art on the side. And I started dabbling into different things, like trying to mentor early stage founders and even people trying to navigate their careers. All that because I have time. And then eventually things started falling into place. Like once you reach out to your community, the community is so welcoming, and every community opens doors and gives you new ideas, right? So I would say that was the pivotal moment. Before that, I was on and off, like supporting some of the, I'm a big believer in continuous learning and certifications. So there's agencies like ISC Squared and ISACA that has opportunities to volunteer and be part of their regular talks. Those are the ones I had explored before. But now I can say that I probably have like 10 or 15 roles that I keep juggling with, right? So
it seems like a lot. And I was going to ask you that question: how do you manage? Like, have you allocated some time every day of the week, or is it need basis? How does that work actually?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we all have just the same amount of time, and that's the currency, right? So I think it's all about like if you don't take a shot, you don't even know that whether you won or not, right? So that's how like, wherever there is an opportunity, I want to sign up for that and then figure out if I'm able to really deliver or not. And in many cases, if it didn't work out, I might just say, okay, this is probably not the right time for me. But in many cases, I try to make up for that. Like if I made a commitment, it's probably just an hour call with a founder a week. It's not a big deal, right? So I try to make up time, even if somebody just reaches out to me, cold calling. I make sure that, if I can find time, I would definitely do
So
that.
things that don't work out, probably they are like legitimately those things don't work out, but this is clearly your passion. Seems like you will make it work no matter what, right? Because you like doing it.
Yeah. And the fact that I didn't have an agenda, like if you're going into a conversation on a give and take basis, it's not going to work out. So I think that's what I've learned.
So how is that conversation in advisory role different for VCs versus startups? Like those are two different institutions altogether. So how do you kind of navigate through like what's in for VC? Maybe I think this is also good for our listeners to know, audiences, that when I look at VC versus when I look at startup, I mean, kind of people know at the highest level, but when it comes from people like you who are actually into that, where you are working with them, what are the challenges that they see and like what kind of advice they look for?
Okay. So first of all, I mean, it's slightly different ecosystems, but ultimately my role is acting as a glue between the VCs and founders, right? For the VCs, it might be beneficial for them to have me in their advisory board because they are constantly receiving all these founder pitches and they need another third pair of eyes to advise them on should they invest or not.
So basically evaluation.
And I'm also doing the free due diligence for them. So why not? I mean, they're not paying me anything. And I'm just giving them ideas of what I'm seeing in my day job. Because in my day job, I come across customers who are actively buying products.
Right.
And I know what's working, what's not working. So there's no reason why the VC should not engage with me to get the pulse of the market.
Right. So you bring that expertise right from like market and what you see. And if anybody is building something new, you can right away say maybe it's a right product fit or not, market fit or not. You have that lens basically to advise.
Yeah, and they know that I also have customers. So if VCs have a promising product that they are ready to, for prime time, they want to go test out the market, they would be happy to pitch it to me so that I can eventually introduce them to my customers.
The beta customers, the early customers.
Exactly. And I try to do that in a genuine non-salesy approach.
Of course,
So that is the most important thing to build trust, right? So if I'm trying to get a commission out of any of this, it won't work. Like my customers would immediately smell that and say, okay, stop sending me anymore.
Yeah, it's probably not a money making activity. It's more about, to me, it seems like you are engaged with the community and you want to genuinely help the community. And what bigger help a startup could get than getting their first customer or first few customers through this kind of engagement. I think that's a great thing for startups also, because in my experience, most of the startups have struggled to find that anchor customer.
Sure.
Everybody is behind that, how do I get my anchor customers? I think that's a great way to help them. There are other 10 things that you might be doing, but this seems to be like, well.
No, the same advice I have for founders. If the founders are after me just because I'm going to introduce them to customers, I'm not going to entertain that.
Of course. It may not work all the time.
So, but if they are genuinely engaging me early on and they want to be want me to be part of the journey and give them feedback on their product and explore collaborations that naturally brings practitioners together, those are ideas I'm always up for.
And it is also possible that your customers may not be using those products altogether. I mean, those startups are totally in a different world and they are totally different than what your customers do. But bringing that experience, I think having that experience lens from what you see, I think that's that's the most precious, I would say,
Sure. Yeah.
in terms of, them knowing that, okay, we need to think about these things. That's pretty interesting.
And above all, I'm having so much fun. I'm learning every single day, every single founder's dream that looks like amazing idea. I don't know how, I wish I could have thought about it. But then, yes, you could have thought about it, but they've been hustling and trying to realize that. So when I see their progress quarter over quarter, that gives me all the excitement in the world. I mean, I'm living their lives as being a part of their journey as well, rather than.
No, I think it's always great to see, the progress that people make, and when you are engaged with them, especially, it's very happy place to be in. Like, that now what will happen 5 years down the line, nobody knows.
Yeah.
But at least you see the progress and the vision that's coming to. You could see the vision actually getting materialized.
Yes.
And that's I think the thrill of it is. I think it's as simple as. When I order the stuff from Amazon, it comes all unboxed or all pieces. When I start screwing up, I don't know how it's going to look. And once it's built, I'm like, I made a kind of that kind of feeling, but at a scale, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked about your career journey, and very, very interesting actually how it came back to from where you started and what you wanted to do. But you were able to utilize all your strengths, the technology side of education that you got, and then the management side, and I think you combine all of it. And now it's kind of going hand in hand, right? I think certainly
seems to have a little bit more clarity, but yeah, I'm always figuring out.
It's life, I think, is always about figuring it out every day. There is something new that comes up. But I think having that background kind of helps, seeing that, been there, done that, sometimes you automatically can figure out what's going on. So interesting journey, but now coming to your other side, like, the personal side of your life, what Anand is like outside of this work. Like, seems like when I look at what you told me, most of your day is kind of engaged in a lot of things. I'm sure that you have life outside of this too. So
thank you. That. I mean, that's so important I have to thank my wife for putting through all of the things that I'm trying now. Mm-hmm. For one thing that we have clearly agreed on is nothing should come at the cost of family. And I have a beautiful 7-year-old daughter. So I would always want to put my daughter's future before anything else.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's where we always talk about like how to balance life, and thankfully she's in a position where like she's able to take most of that initiative, but at the same time I don't want to be the dad saying that, hey, I never showed up for anything, and
no, it's most important. Of course,
there's nothing to brag about it. Like even if I became a billionaire, I wouldn't want to brag about missing out on family. Yeah. So that's something, we are very consciously chatting about. And of course, I do many other things. I don't associate with one particular activity or so. I keep switching up things. That's how I learn. Mm-hmm. So I sign up for other meetup groups where I would just explore something that I've never done. I've done my many adventure activities, done my first bungee jumps and kayaking, whatever I haven't done in a long time. I've signed up to learn to fly. That's going to be a big project.
That sounds very interesting. Flying.
It's a different level. I'm certified to take a boat and sail anywhere in California waterways. So the next big dream is flying.
Yeah, that's flying. I think is a very interesting activity. I think it's a good. It's a dream that you want to live, right? Besides, what you do all in the tech world and other things, I think
you need those kind of outlets for sure. And of course, this is more like whenever I can be outdoorsy. That's I'm always pushing myself. But you also need micro moments, right? Like when you are at home. I think like nothing beats music. So I'm a big fan of music. I can also sing a little bit. I'm on like smule karaoke sometimes.
Nice.
So that actually is an amazing stress buster whenever you are stuck with something.
Yeah. No, I think music always kind of relaxes, and people who love music probably can speak more about it.
Yeah.
And it's important what the point that you made. I want to reiterate that the support from family, the support from spouse. I think nothing can beat it because they are the ones who give you that comfort that okay, go and do. we are here and we'll take care of it. So thank you to your wife as well.
Thank you.
For that support. So you are able to pursue what you want to do in your life and impact so many people in a positive way, right? Advising and doing things for your customers. I mean, maybe it's your job, but still it's impacting their lives because you are advising them and they are taking your advice and doing something which helps them in their job. So I think it's a chain reaction, I would say. So you talked about music, you talked about doing some adventure activities that you have not tried. Anything in sports particularly?
I wish. I really suck at sports. The last time I think I was very much into sports was when I was growing up in India, playing street cricket. Nothing beats that.
Yeah.
But somehow, I drifted away from that. I play occasionally, but I'm not good at anything.
You have enough to keep yourself busy, and that adrenaline rush keep going, right? The bungee jumping and the sailing and the flying. I think those activities, I'm sure that keeps you.
That also tells about my personality. I mean, there may be others who are very committed and they can actually keep a rhythm. I cannot. I'm very flaky and always chasing something new. So for me, time management and consistency has always been a challenge. Mm-hmm. I've never been committing to anything in life.
Sometimes
it's everybody's.
It's personality, right? Yeah, what you want to do, it's your life, and how you want to live it is, you don't want to get boxed in one thing. That's totally fine. So with your experience now, what's the message that you want to give to the budding entrepreneurs and just from your experience, because you have seen so much?
This is just me talking to myself, right? So when I look at things, when things were happening, at that time, you wouldn't really know how this is all going to connect. But always try to push the boundary and explore new things. That's one thing that I would always advise everybody. Never be shy and not exploring, not knocking a door, and just give it a shot. And if you either like it or don't like it, if it's not your thing, move on. The second one is, I love the quote from Walt Disney. I think it goes like, if you want, the best way to get started is stop talking and start doing. Mm-hmm. So there are many things I might be just pondering over, but haven't really took the first step. So that's what I keep pushing myself, just do it. Don't keep postponing.
Well said. So execution is the key. Basically, you have to execute whatever strategy you make. Doesn't matter until it gets executed.
That's right.
Well said. I think this conversation was really interesting in terms of how career spans and people go through different journeys and do different things. At the same time, I think it's very insightful for our audiences also that, nothing is impossible. If you have a dream to pursue, you probably will end up there one day if you are really serious about it. And I think the other takeaway from this is, do what you want to do in the life. If you like doing advisory roles or you want to do something outside of that, just do it.
No, yeah. I mean, whatever is your passion, and also try to have a good balance of mental health and
the family.
The family, that's always priority for sure.
No, wonderful. Great insights, great advice to the young people, and good to know about your story, Anand. It was great chatting with you. I wish you good luck for whatever you're doing. I'm sure that you are changing lives in so many different ways positively by your experience. So I wish you good luck. You continue to do that and help others.
Thank you. Pleasure for having me here, and really looking forward to TechIcon to be successful in all their ventures as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.